You're looking at a funeral photograph from 1902, taken in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At first glance, it shows a grieving family gathered around an open casket, perfectly normal for the era. But there's something deeply disturbing about this image. Hidden among the mourners stands a face that shouldn't exist, the face of the man who committed the murder. The impossible part? He was already dead when this photograph was taken, buried 3 days before in a cemetery 40 miles away. The funeral was for Margaret Thornton, a 34-year-old seamstress who lived in Pittsburgh's Lawrenceville neighborhood. Her sister described her as quiet, devoted to her work, always home by supper. Margaret kept meticulous records, attended church every Sunday, and had never missed a day of work in 12 years. Her neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor Walsh, testified that Margaret wouldn't harm a fly, kept to herself mostly, but always had a kind word. The photographer, James Holbrook, remembered her from a portrait sitting 2 months earlier. Pleasant woman, smiled naturally, nothing unusual about her. On March 14, 1902, at approximately 2:30 p.m., Margaret's funeral took place at the Thornton family home on Butler Street. 23 mourners attended. Holbrook set up his large-format camera in the parlor, standard practice for memorial photography. The exposure took nearly 30 seconds. Everyone remained perfectly still. He developed the glass plate negative that evening in his darkroom, following his usual process with silver nitrate solution. The next morning, Holbrook noticed something impossible in the developed image. Standing behind Margaret's cousin Thomas, partially obscured by shadow, was a distinct male face. The features were clear enough to identify. Narrow-set eyes, prominent nose, distinctive scar across the left cheek. It was unmistakably Henry Marsh, Margaret's former employer, the man convicted of poisoning her after she threatened to expose his embezzlement scheme. Detective William Crawford confirmed the identification within hours. "That's Marsh, no question," he stated in his official report. Same scar from the factory accident in '98. But Henry Marsh had been hanged at Allegheny County Jail on March 11, 1902, 3 days before this photograph was taken. Crawford personally attended the execution, watched Marsh buried at Potter's Field. The death certificate, signed by 2 physicians, left no doubt. Dr. Samuel Woodbridge, a forensic photograph specialist from Philadelphia, examined the original glass plate negative under magnification. His report noted, "The image shows no evidence of double exposure, no scratches or emulsion damage that could create a facial pattern. The figure appears integrated into the original exposure, with correct perspective and lighting consistent with the scene. This defies known photographic principles." On March 28, 1902, Holbrook attempted to photograph another funeral service with 6 witnesses present, including Detective Crawford. When developed, the same face appeared in the background, Henry Marsh's scarred features, watching from shadows. Holbrook destroyed his camera that night, quit photography entirely. The coroner officially attributed Margaret's death to acute poisoning, but witnesses who saw the photograph knew something else haunted that parlor. The case file was sealed without explanation. After 14 investigations and expert analyses, the appearance of a dead murderer in a documented photograph remains unexplained. Have you witnessed something captured by a camera that defied reality? Subscribe to explore more mysteries where science fails. Remember, sometimes the dead refuse to stay buried.